Hello, thank you for joining me today. For this lesson, we are going to look at the properties and create many different shapes. So the first one we're going to do is a square. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Document Options, and I'm going to change the name to the type of shape we're looking at since we'll be looking at multiple ones. We're going to name it Square and OK. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to construct a line segment, and we're going to label the points as A and B. And with our prior knowledge, we know that a square has two sets of parallel lines that are cut in by two perpendicular. So we're going to highlight point A and segment AB, and we're going to construct a perpendicular line. And then we're going to do the same for point B and segment AB, and we are going to construct another perpendicular line. So now you can see where our square is starting to build up. Now we're going to add a circle, and we want the center to be at A and the farthest point out to be AB. So our segment AB is our radius. So now we can see where the circle and the perpendicular line to A are intersecting. So we're going to add a point there. And we are going to label that point as C. So now we are going to make sure our C is highlighted and our segment AB. Sorry about the I can't get it to go away. I accidentally forgot to click the cursor, which is a common problem if you use this for students. They'll have this issue. So if you click highlight C and the segment AB and you construct another parallel line, we can now see the intersection between this parallel and perpendicular line, and we're going to label it D. And now we can see our square, but we don't need all of this other stuff. So we're going to connect our line segments so we can keep the properties that we have. But one thing that we don't have to do is we don't have to go back over AB, that line segment, because we were the ones that created that. So now we have these dotted lines, and what we're going to do is we're going to right click and we're going to hide the perpendicular, the parallel, and the circle. And now we have our square, and we can change and do whatever we want to our square to make it bigger, smaller, whatever we like. So now we can go back to File and Document Options, and we're going to add a page. We want it to be blank, and this one's going to be our rectangle. We're going to take the same approach as we did the square, except minus a few steps. So we're going to create a segment. We're going to label the points A and B, and we know that they have two sets of parallel lines that are interfered by two perpendicular. So we're going to construct perpendicular lines like we did with our square. So we're going to click point B and segment AB and construct another perpendicular line. And now that our perpendicular line to B is already highlighted, we're going to go ahead and click construct and point on perpendicular line. So now it's down here, so they constructed it for us, and we are going to label this point as point C. And now we can see where our rectangle is starting to form, but what we need is that last bottom piece. So we're going to make sure our C is highlighted because we want it to go through point C, but we want it to be parallel to segment AB. So we're going to construct a parallel line. And now we can see our intersection point. So we are going to click that point, and we are going to label it as point D. And disregard my little point here. I'm going to try to hide it if I can in a minute, but it's not supposed to be there. So now we are going to do our little connecting the dot. Oh, we don't have to do A, B, and D, C, and then C, B. And now we can go back to our clicker cursor and we can hide what we don't need. So now we have our rectangle, and we can do whatever we would like with that. So now we're going to go to a rhombus. We're going to go back to document options. We're going to add a blank page. We're going to label it as rhombus. Click OK. We're going to start with another segment. We're going to label the points as A and B. And then we are going to make sure we have a point in the segment highlighted, and then we are going to construct a circle by center radius, and then we are going to click our pointer and we are going to add a point wherever we would like, and we are going to label this point as C, and then we are going to connect the dots between C and B. And now we no longer need this circle, so we're going to hide it. And now we can see where we have 3 points, but we still need our 4th one. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to click A and segment AB, and we're going to construct a circle by center radius. And we are going to click point C and segment CB, and we are going to construct another circle. And now we see the intersection of the 2 circles, and we are going to place a dot right there. And we are going to label this point as D, and now we will connect our dots that we have left to connect. And now we can see our rhombus, but it's still hidden in our circles, so we need to hide our circles. And now we have a rhombus that we can do whatever we want to. So now we're going to go back to File, and we are going to Document Options, and we're going to add another blank page. And this one is going to be a parallelogram. Click OK. We're going to start with another line segment. We're going to label this point A and label this point B. And now we are going to create a random point wherever you like. So I'm going to put mine up here. I'm going to label this point C. Now we need to connect our point C and B. So now what we're going to do is we are going to click on point A and segment BC, and we are going to construct a parallel line. So now we can start to see our parallelogram forming, and we are going to click point C and segment AB to construct another parallel line that will run through C. And now we have an intersection of these 2 parallel lines, and we're going to add a point, and we're going to label it D. And now we can connect our dots. And now we have our parallelogram. So let's go and hide our parallel lines. And there we have it. And we can do whatever we want with our parallelogram. So now we're going to do File, and we're going to add another document option. We're going to add another page. And this one's going to be entitled Kite. For this one, we're going to take the same approach. We're going to add a line segment. We're going to label this point as A and this point as B. And now what we're going to do differently is we're going to click just segment AB, and we're going to construct a midpoint. Now we have the midpoint of AB. And from that, we want to make sure we have our midpoint clicked, and we want to click the segment AB. We want to construct a perpendicular line. Now we can add our points wherever we would see fit to create our kite. So I'm going to make mine look like an actual kite that you see flying in the air. And we are going to connect our point. And let's label the top one C and the bottom one D. And now I have my kite, but I have this stuff around it that I don't want anymore. So we are going to go and hide it. And hide. And we're going to hide our midpoint. And now we have a kite. And we can change our kite to be as big or small as we want. So now we're going to go back to File, and this is our last one. So we're going to go to Document Options. We're going to add another blank page, and this one is going to be called the Cyclic Quadrilateral. And we're going to click OK. And this time, instead of creating a segment, we are going to create a triangle. And let's label our points A, B, and C. So now we want to create a parallel line to point C and segment AB. We're going to construct a parallel line. No, sorry. We want to construct a perpendicular line. Sorry for my confusion. We want a perpendicular line. And then we want to click on point A and segment BC. We want to construct a I have too much highlighted, so we want point A and BC. We want to construct a circle by center radius. So now this still isn't right. This is not supposed to be perpendicular. That was right the first time. I need to trust myself. So we want point C and segment AB, and we want to construct a parallel line. So now we can see that there's a point right here where the circle and the line intersect. So we're going to add that. And in this visual, they're really close together. But generally it makes it to look to be a trapezoid kind of in your picture. So now we want to create our segment between point C and D. And then we want to hide this line. And now we have our cyclic quadrilateral minus this piece in here. I forgot to connect my D to B. Sorry about that. We're going to click back to here. We're going to delete this, hide this segment. There we go. Now I have our trapezoid so it looks. So this is a little bit about how to make shapes with it. One common issue that I have had with Geometry Sketchpad is making sure that I'm clicking the right tools. That's a big problem. It's really difficult for me, and I know it would be for students as well. So that's a little bit about Geometry Sketchpad, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.